Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How many times in your life have you felt like someone was trying to tear you down? Maybe they doubted you, maybe they betrayed you, maybe they spread lies, talked behind your back, or flat out tried to break your spirit. People attack what they fear. It's a truth that most people don't want to acknowledge, but if you look closely, you'll see it everywhere. When someone sees you growing, pushing beyond limits, or stepping into a higher level of yourself, it triggers something inside them. It forces them to confront their own doubts, their own insecurities, their own failures. And instead of facing that inner battle, instead of using it as fuel to improve themselves, they take the easier route. They try to tear you down. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone belittle another person's success? How many times have you witnessed people criticize someone who dared to dream bigger? It's not because that person is wrong. It's not because they don't deserve success. It's because their ambition shines a light on everything others refuse to do for themselves. People don't criticize mediocrity. They don't waste time attacking someone who isn't going anywhere. But the moment you start elevating, the moment you start breaking through barriers, that's when the resistance shows up. Because your success is a reminder of what they could be doing but aren't. This is why the most successful people in the world have always faced opposition. Every great leader, every trailblazer, every innovator has been met with skepticism, ridicule, and doubt. The world doesn't embrace change easily. It resists it. And when you become the force of change, when you decide to step outside of the box that society, your peers, or even your family tried to put you in, you will face resistance too. People fear what they don't understand. If they've never pushed past their own limitations, they won't understand why you're willing to endure struggle for growth. If they've always accepted average, they won't comprehend why you refuse to settle. And because they don't understand, they assume you're wrong. They assume you'll fail. They assume you'll come crawling back to the level they're comfortable with. But that's not your concern. You don't owe anyone an explanation for wanting more. You don't have to justify your ambition, your hunger, or your desire to break through. The people who truly support you won't try to limit you. The people who believe in their own potential won't feel threatened by yours. The ones who try to pull you down, they're showing you exactly where they stand. They're revealing their own limitations, not yours. And the moment you internalize their doubts, the moment you let their fear become your fear, you've already lost. Most people operate from a place of scarcity. They believe success is limited, that there's only so much to go around, and if you rise, it somehow takes away from them. But that's a lie. There is no shortage of success, no limit on how far you can go, except the ones you choose to believe. The world is full of people who never took action on their dreams, people who let fear dictate their lives, people who settled because it was easier than fighting for something greater. And those same people will be the first to tell you why you can't do it, why it's impossible, why you should just give up now. It's not about you. It never was. Their words, their doubts, their attacks, it's all about them. Their unfulfilled potential, their regrets, their refusal to take risks. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop taking it personally. You stop letting it shake you. You stop looking for validation from people who were never meant to understand your journey. People attack what they fear. They try to destroy what they can't control. They mock what challenges their beliefs, but none of that has to affect you unless you let it. Your response defines your destiny. Life is going to test you. It will throw challenges in your path. People will doubt you and obstacles will appear when you least expect them. But none of that determines your future. What determines your future is how you respond. Two people can go through the exact same situation. One rises, the other crumbles. The difference isn't what happened to them. The difference is in their response. You cannot control what others say about you. You cannot control how they treat you, whether they support you or whether they try to bring you down. But you can always control how you respond. That is your power. That is what separates those who stay stuck from those who break through. The person who lets negativity consume them, who allows doubt to seep into their mind, who reacts emotionally instead of strategically, this is the person who loses before the real battle even begins. But the person who stays focused, who understands that setbacks are temporary, who refuses to let external forces dictate their internal state, this is the person who wins every single time. When someone disrespects you, You have a choice. You can let it trigger you, waste your energy on anger and get caught in a cycle of negativity, or you can see it for what it is, a test. A moment where you get to prove that you are bigger than their words, stronger than their attempts to shake you. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who never face adversity. They are the ones who remain unshaken when it comes. Your emotions are powerful. They can either work for you or against you. The moment you allow frustration, resentment, or self-doubt to take control, you lose sight of the bigger picture. Successful people don't waste time reacting to every little thing. They don't give their energy to people who try to bring them down. They don't allow temporary feelings to make permanent decisions. They master their response. They use every setback as fuel. They see rejection not as a wall, but as a detour leading them to something greater. How you respond to failure is what determines whether you rise again. Some people see failure as proof that they weren't meant to succeed. Others see it as feedback, as a lesson, as an opportunity to improve. It's never about what happened to you, it's about what you do next. When you take responsibility for your response, you take back your power. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, of other people's opinions, of the setbacks that will inevitably come your way. You are in control. There will always be moments where you feel tested. Someone will try to undermine your success. A challenge will arise that seems impossible. You will question whether you are strong enough, smart enough, or capable enough to push through. And in that moment, your response is everything. Do you react emotionally, lashing out, giving up, letting fear take over? Or do you pause, breathe, and decide that nothing, no opinion, no failure, no obstacle is going to define you except for your own actions? Every time you choose to stay focused instead of getting distracted by negativity, you build resilience. Every time you choose discipline over emotion, you become stronger. Every time you refuse to let someone else's actions dictate your future, you step closer to your ultimate potential. The people who succeed at the highest level are not the ones who had the easiest path. They are the ones who controlled their response. When life knocked them down, they didn't let it define them. They didn't let setbacks turn into excuses. They decided in every moment to rise. Pain fuels growth. It is the one thing people try to avoid, yet it is the very thing that shapes the strongest, most unstoppable individuals. Pain is not the enemy, it is the teacher. It is the fire that refines, the pressure that transforms, the resistance that builds strength. Without pain, there is no progress. Without struggle, there is no breakthrough. Every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary has been tested by pain. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the absence of pain, but how they choose to use it. Most people see pain as a signal to stop. They feel discomfort and retreat. They face rejection and shrink back. They experience failure and convince themselves it wasn't meant to be. But the truth is, pain is not a sign that you should quit. It is proof that you are growing. It is the discomfort of stretching beyond your limits, of breaking through old patterns, of stepping into a version of yourself that you have never been before. Growth is painful because it requires change, and change is uncomfortable. When you go to the gym and push your body beyond what it is used to, your muscles tear so they can rebuild stronger. The pain you feel is not a signal of weakness, but of transformation. The same principle applies to every area of life. Emotional pain, mental pain, the pain of failure, the pain of discipline. All of it is shaping you into someone stronger, someone more resilient, someone capable of achieving what most people will never have the strength to endure. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who avoided pain, but the ones who embraced it. They understood that every setback was an opportunity to learn. Every rejection was a lesson in perseverance. Every moment of doubt was a test of their commitment. They did not run from pain, they leaned into it, knowing that on the other side was the version of themselves that they were meant to become. Pain exposes weakness. It reveals the areas where you need to grow. It shows you where you are still holding back, where you still have limitations. But instead of seeing that as a reason to stop, use it as a reason to push harder. When pain comes, do not ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? There is always a lesson. There is always something to be gained. The people who understand this do not fear pain, they welcome it because they know it is shaping them into something greater. Most people will never reach their full potential because they are unwilling to endure the pain required to get there. They want the results, but they do not want the struggle. They want the success, but they do not want the sacrifice. They want the growth, but they do not want the discomfort. But you cannot have one without the other. The pain is part of the process. The struggle is what makes the reward meaningful. The difference between those who win and those who give up is not talent, not intelligence, not luck. It is the willingness to endure. It is the decision to keep going when everything in you is telling you to stop. It is the mindset that says this pain is temporary, but what I am becoming because of it will last forever. The people who achieve the impossible are the ones who refuse to let pain break them. They use it, they transform it, they turn it into fuel. Success silences critics. In the beginning, people will doubt you. They will question your abilities, mock your ambitions, and assume you will fail. They will say you are dreaming too big, aiming too high, or expecting too much from life. This is what happens when you decide to break away from the norm. People who have accepted mediocrity will always try to convince you to do the same. They will disguise their doubt as advice, telling you to be realistic, to lower your expectations, to follow a safer path. But their words only have power if you let them. Every great achiever has faced criticism. Every person who has ever done something extraordinary has been told at some point that they would not make it. The world does not hand out approval to those who challenge the status quo. When you start pushing limits, stepping outside the boundaries of what is considered normal, people get uncomfortable. Your ambition forces them to confront their own lack of action, and instead of using it as inspiration, they use it as a reason to attack. At first, it can be tempting to respond, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong with words. But words will never be enough. Arguments will not change their minds. You will never convince a doubter by explaining your vision. The only thing that will make them stop talking is results. The only thing that silences criticism is undeniable success. When you reach a point where your accomplishments speak louder than their opinions, they will have nothing left to say. This is why the best revenge is not anger, not retaliation, not proving a point. It is progress. It is becoming so focused on your goals that you no longer hear the noise around you. It is waking up every day with one mission: to get better, to go further, to turn your dreams into reality. When you do that, their words lose all power. They become irrelevant background noise that does not affect your direction. People love to doubt what they cannot see. They cannot see your work ethic. They cannot see your discipline, your late nights, your early mornings, your relentless drive. They only see results. And when those results start showing up, everything changes. The same people who doubted you will suddenly act like they believed in you all along. The same voices that tried to tear you down will go silent. And some will even try to come back, pretending they always supported you. This is the pattern of success. At first, they ignore you. Then they laugh at you. Then they fight you. And finally, they respect you. But you will never get to that last stage if you waste time trying to respond to every critic along the way. The energy you spend proving yourself to doubters is energy taken away from your mission. Every moment you focus on their words is a moment lost in building your vision. The most powerful thing you can do is let your success be your response. Some people will never believe in you no matter what you do. Some will always find something negative to say, no matter how much you achieve. But their belief is not necessary. Their approval is not required. Your job is not to make them understand. Your job is to execute, to build, to keep going until they have no choice but to acknowledge what you have done. And by the time they do, their opinions will no longer matter because you will already be standing exactly where you were meant to be. Stay focused, not distracted. The world is full of distractions designed to pull you away from your goals. Everywhere you turn, there are people, situations, and temptations trying to steal your attention. Some distractions come in the form of negativity, people doubting you, criticizing you, or trying to bring you down. Others come disguised as harmless entertainment, mindless scrolling, unnecessary conversations, or meaningless drama. But every second you give to distractions is a second taken away from your growth, your vision, and your mission. Focus is the foundation of success. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the most talented or the most gifted. They are the ones who mastered the ability to block out distractions and commit fully to their goals. They understand that time is the most valuable resource they have, and they refuse to waste it on things that do not serve their higher purpose. They do not chase every opportunity, respond to every comment, or engage in every argument. They guard their attention like it is their most precious asset. Because it is. Most people fail not because they lack potential, but because they allow distractions to pull them away from what truly matters. They start with motivation. They set big goals. They take action. But somewhere along the way, they lose focus. They let opinions get in their head. They let temporary setbacks shake their belief. They waste time comparing themselves to others instead of working on their own progress. And before they realize it, they are standing in the same place they were months or even years ago, wondering why success hasn't come to them. The truth is, you will never reach your highest potential if you are constantly looking in different directions. You cannot build momentum if you are always stopping to react to distractions. You must decide what is worthy of your attention and what is simply noise. If something is not helping you grow, improve, or move closer to your goals, it is holding you back. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is the ability to say no, not just to bad habits, but to anything that is not aligned with their vision. Distractions will always exist. You will always have people doubting you, obstacles appearing, temptations calling your name. The question is not whether distractions will show up, it is whether you will allow them to control you. The stronger your focus, the less power distractions have over you. The more committed you are to your purpose, the easier it becomes to ignore everything that does not serve it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they can balance focus and distractions at the same time. They believe they can chase their dreams while still indulging in every distraction that comes their way. But true success requires sacrifice. It requires the discipline to walk away from anything that is not helping you evolve. It requires the strength to stay locked in on your vision, even when the world is pulling you in different directions. Your environment plays a major role in your ability to stay focused. If you surround yourself with people who have no goals, who waste time, who live for entertainment instead of progress, their habits will influence you. If you consume negative content, engage in unnecessary debates, and allow yourself to get caught up in meaningless distractions, your mind will become scattered. Success is not just about what you do. It is about what you choose to avoid. The most powerful thing you can do is take control of your attention and direct it toward what truly matters. Your rise is inevitable. If you refuse to quit, if you refuse to settle, if you refuse to let obstacles break you, nothing can stop you from reaching the level you were meant to reach. The only thing that separates those who succeed from those who don't is the decision to keep going no matter what. It is not about luck, talent, or circumstances. It is about persistence, resilience, and an unshakable belief in your own potential. The people who make it to the top are not the ones who had the easiest path. They are the ones who refuse to stop climbing. Most people give up too soon. They hit one obstacle, face one failure, hear one negative comment, and decide that maybe they were not meant for greatness. They let temporary setbacks convince them that success is impossible. But what they don't realize is that every struggle, every delay, every rejection is part of the process. It is not a sign to stop. It is a test to see how badly you really want it. The people who succeed are the ones who understand that every challenge is temporary, but quitting is permanent. There will be moments when you feel like you are not making progress, moments when you doubt yourself, moments when it seems like the people around you are moving ahead while you are stuck in place, but growth is not always visible in the moment. Just like a seed buried in the soil, there are periods where nothing seems to be happening on the surface, but underneath, the roots are growing, the foundation is being built. And when the time is right, the breakthrough happens. Nothing great happens overnight. Every successful person, every champion, every leader has spent years building their craft, refining their skills, and pushing through moments of uncertainty. The reason they succeeded is not because they never struggled, but because they never gave up. They kept showing up, they kept improving, they kept believing in themselves even when nobody else did. That is what separates the ones who rise from the ones who remain stuck. Your mindset determines your future. If you believe that success is out of your reach, that you are not good enough, that you do not have what it takes, those thoughts will become your reality. But if you choose to believe that every setback is just another step forward, that every challenge is making you stronger, that no matter how many times you fall, you will always get back up, that mindset will carry you through anything. You do not need permission to rise. You do not need validation. You do not need anyone else to believe in you. The only thing you need is the decision to keep going. The world does not decide your destiny. You do. The opinions of others do not shape your future. Your actions do. If you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, if you refuse to let doubt, fear, or failure stop you, nothing in this world can hold you back. The road to success is not a straight line. It is filled with twists, turns, detours, and roadblocks, but the only way you fail is if you stop moving. Every struggle you face is preparing you for the next level. Every setback is strengthening your character. Every time you keep going when most people would quit, You are proving to yourself that you are unstoppable. And when you develop that level of persistence, when you decide that no matter what happens, you will rise, the result is inevitable. You were never meant to stay down. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt was never designed to break you. It was designed to build you. The people who tried to bring you down, the obstacles that seemed impossible, the pain that felt unbearable, all of it was shaping you into the person who refuses to be defeated. Now it's your time to rise. Not because someone else believes in you, not because the path is easy, but because you have decided that nothing will stop you. You have the power to control your response, to turn pain into fuel, to silence critics with success, to block out distractions, and to keep moving forward no matter what stands in your way. Your rise is inevitable because you refuse to quit, because you refuse to settle, because you refuse to let anything define you except your own determination. They tried to bring you down, but they underestimated one thing. You were always meant to rise.